I actually did the math on that. It's about $3 million.
Yeah. I figured for a quick 10, you could pay 3 years.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, as we start another year, right now we're keeping our fingers crossed about the insurance bill, the upcoming bill. Mother Nature didn't do us any favors this year. A couple hurricanes, some bad snowstorms, fires out in California, hurricanes, tornadoes. But we're hoping that when will we get that, John? February?
We're hoping to get some indication within the next 2 weeks, but we have 30 days before, which will be February 7th.
Yeah.
They have to give us something.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Everybody knows, we had about a $43 average increase this year per month on the dues. Happy to say that's a lot better than our neighbors. Some of our neighbors had as much as $100 a month increase, as well as one of the Wildewood dues had a $3,500 assessment for new roofs. So, last year our insurance guy, I believe this is correct, he told us to plan on 17%. We budgeted for 27%. Now they're saying it could be as much as 40
to 50%.
40 to 50%. So we will hope for the best there. We got a big spring fling coming up in March. Everybody's looking forward to that, I'm sure. I believe it's the 18th. And that's about all. Anybody have a chance to look at the minutes next month? Yeah, I already did. We have confirmation notice, I'm sorry.
Confirmation notice, yes. Everything was posted according to statutory requirements.
And a roll call.
On the 12th.
Roger?
Yes.
I'm here. Shannon's on vacation?
Tom's in Bon Air.
Yes.
Steve?
Here.
Dick? Picola? Oh, I need to get closer. I'm just too short. Denny Palmer?
Here.
George Fisher?
Here.
Martha Heigl? Here. Claire Dewhurst? She's at work.
Yeah, they called in to work today.
Okay, Tammy? Here. Tiffany? Here. Bob Carey? Here. Deb Carter? Here. And John West.
Here.
Very good. Things going back in the order they're supposed to be. The minutes. Any comments on that? Do I hear a motion to approve? Parker? Second. Dick Picola? Anybody opposed? I guess that means everybody's for. Okay. Good. Financial matters.
All is well. Done. Back phone.
Well, now that it's January, I can see easily all is well. We haven't done anything to create a problem for our budget. As of the present time, we are over budget, of course, as far as the income into our expenses on the administrative. It's involving the insurance premium. It's basically the only place we're over. We do have a greater income, I'm sorry to say. Let's start over. Our income is above what we had budgeted based on the fact that we had the assessment. At the present time, we are over budget in administration, and that's involving the insurance premium. The rest of the variance we have here is due to the seasonal variance of leaf pickup and buildings and so on and so forth. At the present time, the good news in our budget is that we are under budget for utilities by $26,000, and that's due to some of the energy efficiency processes that we're working on, etc. A couple of interesting things. We have at the present time $1.7 million in our reserve fund, of which we have put approximately $1 million into the CD program that we put in place, and that is going to work well at the present time. We have an income after approximately 2 weeks of about $1,600. That's not bad. And we project this to be somewhere in the neighborhood between 4.5 and 4.8% increase due to the interest rates on the CDs that we have in place right now. And there'll be more reports on this. We've only had like 3 weeks of reaction, so, but anyway. Last but not least, and this was disturbing to me, at the present time we have $846,000 in our operating fund, of which $466 is projected for insurance. And my God, that's going to kill us, guys, if we keep getting hit with these increases. So thanks to John and the rest of the individuals, we have put away some money for the increase that's going to be in place. But when I take a look at what we did 4 years ago, and we're doing now, it's right. Any questions? All I can say is the reserve fund and the budget process that's been in place for the amount of time that I've been here as an owner, we're so lucky when we take a look around at some of our neighbors and close by, Wildewood 2 and a few of the other places. We're really having a scratch. Thank you.
Accounts receivable.
Yes, excuse me. Accounts receivable as of the 31st of December, we have 2 units that owe more than 500 but less than a full quarter. We have 2 units that owe 1 quarter and 1 unit that owes 2 quarters. We have 2 units still with the attorney to be collected for the special assessments, and the 2 units with legal issues. 364, of course, is an old story. It's the unit that is owned by the Bank of America. Currently, we're owed $13,558.96, which is a heavy percentage of what our accounts receivable are. Everything else is really in pretty good shape. Unit 718 is down to $18,24.69, and I'm waiting on a daily basis to hear what happened, because that foreclosure hearing happened late last week. We haven't heard anything on that one. And 762, as you recall, is a unit that had to pay us over $20,000 in arrears. They started in arrears again, but they sent us a check for $3,200. So as of right now, they've caught up again, but who knows what they're going to do. So all in all, the receivables are in very good shape.
What's 345? John, what's the deal with 345?
340.
Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. Unit 34. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Unit 345.
What's 340?
2 quarters.
Yes, we're pursuing that, and that's with the attorney.
Okay.
Yes. That, we've talked to them, and the son normally pays the fees. Apparently the mother lives there, and she's pressing her son to see what's going on. But it is with the attorney for collection. Yes, ma'am.
The amount doesn't look right for 2 quarters behind.
Well, there's probably some interest fees or something of that nature.
But I mean, 2 quarters is more than 2,100. I pay 1,400 a quarter.
Right. Well, they have paid a portion. They could have been ahead of things, but they're still behind.
Okay.
Yeah. Good point. But I mean, they could have overpaid a little bit last time and then stopped paying, or who knows why, but it's not exactly 2 quarters. You're right.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's move on. Old business. second floor entry slabs. I'll let John do that.
Okay, we've signed the contract. It should have been a copy in the manager's report with the company today, or well, they weren't today, but tomorrow or Wednesday, they should be out. We've got 3 units we're going to start with immediately as trial unit to make sure that the dollar is anticipated, that the cost will be where we hope it to be. And if that works out, we've got 18 more units, which I've listed in the report, that should have immediate action. Here again, we have 141 to do, we've done 43, 98 to go.
John, I just wonder if you could give an explanation of, explain cost plus.
I think the contract is pretty, when I say self-evident, it shows the dollars of the expenses, and it's a 15% markup on materials.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the purchase of the automatic pool and spa chemical feeders. I think we finally got an exact price, so.
We got a price of $47,675 to remove the existing equipment and reinstall the new equipment, labor charges, and warranty for a year. I still think we should wait another month till we see what's going to come back from Galaxy. We've now made him aware that we're interested in doing this, and it's up to him to make his decision. If he wants to give us a price on the existing equipment, then we can make a final decision.
Right.
Should we purchase this, it would alleviate the $8,400 a year that we're renting the equipment from, which shows about a 4-year amortization. Equipment lasts much longer than that, so it'd be something to seriously look at, and we could expend those from John's interest maybe or something. It would be a reserve expense.
Okay, yeah, I think we should wait and get a price from them on what we have now, is what John's talking about, just buy what they have in place at the moment. So, okay. Status of the tax audit.
Okay, the auditor did come in this afternoon, so that the audit is well underway. Part of what they do is they have us send letters to our attorney and to our insurance company and what have you to verify the fact that we have the insurance policy in place and what the costs were. They also check it with the attorney as far as any legal issues that we have and verify the receivables. And today he's in going through the files, looking at receipts and things of that nature. So it's on target.
John?
Yeah.
Will what we've done in regards to this investment program have any effect on that audit?
No, because basically it started this year, this is fiscal 2022. But we have given him all the information to incorporate, to anticipate what's going to go on.
Great.
Okay, next item is the holiday collection for the hourly employees. I happen to have been in on that and there the day that they received them. And I believe our total, John, was $22.50, which they were very, very happy. And it was well deserved for what they did this year.
It also helped because the ADP messed up the payroll and they got paid a day late, so nobody was burnt.
I was surprised that only one wife showed up. And she showed up, it was Jackie.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
He's
The minute he walked out of there, her car pulled up, and I happened to be with her. She said,
sexist remark.
hand out.
You didn't have to go far with it.
All right. You want to go over the insurance update?
Yeah, I believe you started to allude to it, and it's, as you said, it's somewhat complicated and we're somewhat concerned. Talking to the agent, the indication he's getting from ACIC, who has been our insurance or provided us insurance for the last 6 years, is that they're considering not renewing they're considering not renewing anything built before 1990. Which is kind of silly because as we've said here before, construction at our times are much better than what you see there now. However, that's what the underwriters are saying. If ACIC does underwrite us, they may not take the whole 92 million, and they might take, say, 50 million, and then we'd have to get into a layered situation that at one time was advantageous, but now with all, as you said, the storm going elsewhere in the secondary market, it may not. There's one other company that we're looking into is Heritage, and Heritage has written the full packages, but we've gotten quotes in the last 2 years, and they were always higher than ACIC. We might have to consider the Citizens, and let me double back. ACIC is now indicating that their raise, if they do raise, may go 45 to 50%, which is totally ridiculous. That's just for the wind. Okay. And if we go to the Citizens, there's a good chance that the 20-21% raise may be valid. However, we lose certain things, i.e. Law and ordinance coverage. And law and ordinance coverage means if we lose a building and we have to rebuild it, if we had that coverage in there, they would take care of the code upgrades or anything like that. If we don't have law and coverage, we would have to pay for the code upgrades. There's one other, I hadn't realized that we could do this under the state law, and talking to the insurance agent, excuse me, and he's saying that we could consider lowering our wind coverage, and it still would speak with the state statutes. In other words, we have $92 million worth of exposure, and if you take, say, 50% on the wind, on $92 million, it's going to be an X increase. But if we say covered 50 million, obviously the percentages would be lower. The chances of us losing all buildings 100% are probably negligible with the type of construction we have. So it might be an issue to control, but that'll be up to the board to take a look at that. But if that's the case, we could be well within our budgeted allotment for this year. So there could be an out. We haven't had, we've had the storms, as everybody's experienced. We've had expenditures with Emily was about $90,000. With the Ian and Nicole, we ended up with about $47,000. All well within underneath our deductible. And most of that was exterior grounds and cleanup. We've had, maybe $10,000 worth of damage to buildings and things of that nature. So if that's the case, it may be an avenue where we won't get hit quite so bad, but that'll have to be a decision we talk about. But under state statutes, well, the way it's written is you shall have insurance coverage. It doesn't demand 100%, even though there are some indications in the statutes that require it. It's now being looked at by attorneys saying, no, you don't have to. So it's something we'll look at. Go ahead, Pam.
So when the board is considering this, will we be talking to our insurance agent? Will he come into our?
We can certainly, he'll be happy to come in.
Okay, I think that's probably a really good idea. Yeah. Because owners may want to come in and be on that as well. So, I mean, just for the information.
We'll have them wear a bulletproof vest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think February is going to be,
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot for the board to digest that next month.
Not exactly going to be Valentine's Day.
done since the last meeting.
That's good news. Annual meeting information.
Okay, the annual meeting notice was mailed out last week according to statutory requirements. The statutory requirements are that the first notice of election, it goes out 60 days in advance. I don't know if you got it yet in the mail. You may get it today or tomorrow. If not, I've also included in your handout today the letter. There'll be representatives, as your documents require. One representative from this village is up for election, and it just so happens in Oak View, because Deb doesn't live there anymore. Both positions for John West and Deb Harder will be up, so there's really 8. The director at large position is in the second year of the term, so that's not at large. But the people who are up for running positions held by Cookie in Pinehurst, Shannon in Sherwood, Dennis Palmer in Springdale, Monica Heigl in Palm Tree, Claire Dewhurst in Lakeside, and of course John West and Debbie Harder. So within 20 days of receipt, those of you who wish to file for election, because that's how it's done in state condominiums, everybody nominates themselves, if you will, return the form. It has to be in by, I think, the February 3rd or 3:30. If you wish to run, I know that several of the current board members have filled out already intent to run forms for those who are interested. But anybody else, please make sure that if you consider doing this, to get the application in or the intent to run form in by February 3rd, 3:30. And you're also allowed, if you wish, to send in 1 page of a biography or anything like that to tell us what you've been doing or your qualifications. And the meeting will be here, March 13th at 1 p.m., which will have an annual meeting that day. Then we'll have an organizational meeting, and we'll have a regular board meeting, so that'll be the long day.
Very good, thank you.
Did you meet March 13th? Or at 1 p.m., I mean, not 2?
1 here, we always, the 1 o'clock is always the annual meeting because we have the 2 other chapters.
Yeah, annual meeting's always 1.
All right, good.
John, did you
Yes,
want to
Mark.
go over part F?
Microphone, please.
Did you skip part F, the events?
Do what?
On your detailed manager's report, it's there, but not on the agenda. Part F, events scheduled,
Wait a minute.
Page 3.
at the top of page 3 on your manager's report.
Top of page 3, manager's report. Let's see. Okay.
I think it just was accidentally left off the summary agenda.
Oh, events, yeah, event schedule, I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. Courtyard sale will be February 4th, 2023 at, 10 a.m. or is it 9 a.m.? 9 a.m. We already have several requests for tables. And if anybody needs a table to set out all your treasures, please let us know and we'll get the tables to you for that. And then the spring fling is scheduled for March 18th. And that'll be usually 1 o'clock, is it? 3 o'clock. Okay, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it should be a gala fun affair. I know that we have several volunteers who sign up, and they're going to have a meeting soon. And if everybody's interested, please come to the office. Thank you. Thank you, Barb.
Okay, well, that was the manager's report, which was next on the agenda.
Yeah, next, obviously, general items is that the tree trim, we have 12 major stumps left over from the storm. Got our first proposal came in to grind those stumps is $7,100. We're going to get 2 more quotes and we try to beat this down a little bit. But several of those stumps, if you're not familiar with them, where they are, they're quite intrusive where they are. Fine.
We have a stump, I like our stump.
Yeah, like your stuff. Well, you can have your stuff. And finally, repairs, left the number out, but there were 268 requests and repairs handled since the last meeting. You can tell people are back in town.
Okay, all right, next item up, committee reports. Tammy?
The pool committee meeting for February will be the 7th at Pool 7 at 10 a.m. Everyone is welcome. We work on looking at hazards, what works, what improvements, and ways to save money at the pools when we go to them in person. The courtyard sale, as John had said, is February 4th, 9 to 1 p.m. 19 people have already signed up, and I know all of you people out there, you have stuff that you could get rid of. So please call me and sign up for the courtyard sale. Thank you.
IT committee? IT committee? Microphone?
Sorry.
We had a meeting the first week of January, and we'll have a second meeting in January because of not having one in December. So the last Friday of January, we'll have another IT meeting. We're working on reviewing the website, making sure that all the links work, that the spelling's correct, that the grammar is pretty good. We have a real good committee. We really have people that take care of it and look it over. And I think there's a lot of things on the website. I think some people don't realize how many things we have out there. One of the things I put up today was a sign-up sheet for the spring fling. So you have a place there under the community area to go in and put your name on the list, tell us what you're bringing, and it'll get submitted to the people that should know about it.
Very good. Very good. Pete, landscape.
And Mike back to Pete, or else
Yeah. I'll use that.
Yeah, as John just stated, it's a wake-up call when you hear how much they want to do stumps. So we have to get these done, but as you know, and everybody says, we have stumps all over the place. We do. But we try to level them off, keep them low, and do plantings around them to hide them. Because if we're going around and do stumps, that's the end of the planting. It's one or the other. So we're going to have to handle this first. And we're going to order the mulch, and the mulch will be done fairly soon. And this year we're going to do common areas in the backs, because for 2 years we haven't done the backs. So we'll do that this year. And the other thing we were talking about at our meeting is, because we went around like 3.5 years ago and did everything, it's great. When John and I ride around, we find maybe 1, 2, 3 plants that are sick or have to be replaced. Before we were doing 8, 10, 15 a week. But now our hibiscus are getting pretty old. Some of them we put in for Social Security. That's how bad them are.
Don't put them out. So
we're going to pick out the ones that are really getting leggy, because all you got is a little bit of growth at the top. So we'll be working on that too. And other than that, you know, everything's going along according to normal, and you know, we really don't have that many problems. We used to get calls all the time. That's kind of died down. So, any questions?
Yeah.
Monica?
Not as easy as it looks.
I walk around quite a bit. We have hundreds, and I mean hundreds of trees that are so full of moss, which literally chokes the tree to death. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
What, the Spanish moss?
The Spanish moss.
Doesn't bother me.
Well, you know, wherever I have seen bushes and I pulled off the Spanish moss, the bushes were dying. 2 or 3 weeks later, the bush came back. I have done it as I'm walking, and now I'm starting to wear gloves because I hate to pull the stuff off with my hands. But when I pull it off and I go walk by a couple of weeks later, it is healthy again.
It's really not, because I checked on that, and like you said, it doesn't bother. The things that bother the trees and the plants are the air plants. Those take nourishment away. Spanish moss doesn't really.
How about the vines?
The what?
The vines that are growing on a lot of our bushes and things.
The vines,
We clear the vines when we trim, and we're doing the
we
back.
try to clear them all, yeah, because they will, yeah,
That's
they
the
will.
ones I'm seeing a lot of.
They will. So, anything else? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Building. We're at a building committee meeting tomorrow, 10 o'clock, the office. Everybody's welcome. The only thing we're working on right now is sort of redoing the list of things that you should be doing when you leave your condo for an extended period of time. So we're putting some new stuff in there that should help. And also, I've been preaching to people that get somebody who knows what they're doing to look at your place at least once a month. And we have a couple of guys that do that. Instead of Mrs. Jones next door who opens, walks in, looks around, says, okay, goes and locks the door and leaves.
Do they charge?
Oh, yeah.
Of course they do.
Actually, some of the better ones right now are actually taking pictures. I know that one of our employees takes pictures every Sunday of the interior and sends them to the owners. It's getting quite sophisticated to show them proof that they show up and that everything's in good shape. So.
At one time, Steve, we kind of had a checking program with the bug guy or somebody going into these places. Do we have any way of monitoring to make sure that we do have somebody in these places? So, I mean, it's nice when we have somebody that contracts for it, but then we have a lot of places that may never see anyone, and heaven help us, we'll end up with another mold program like we did in 763 or whatever it was.
We get good feedback from our pest people.
Yeah.
And he takes a sheet out and, as long as he's getting into every place, we've had a few issues with them not going in the back with the gate being locked and that type of stuff, but we've got much better feedback from our bug people right now.
That's going inside the...
Going inside, yeah.
But
The last couple of rodent problems that we found came from them, that nobody was in the unit and there was some issues.
That's exactly the reason I'm concerned.
If they see anything that's really bad, they'll bring it to our attention. But I mean, they're not going in the closets and looking at shoes that are covered with, it's not their job.
Well, where they're shooting, that's the only thing I've learned.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, anyways, that building committee's tomorrow, 10 o'clock.
Steve.
You. Go ahead.
Pertaining to the bug people, bug man, the condo that I actually look at, I have a check sheet, a spiral notebook and a check sheet, and he actually glues that he was there. So I do have proof that he was there, and I always go in and check to make sure he's locked the door. But other than that, I mean, I have months where he was plastered into the check sheet.
Good. Okay, did I miss a committee? Usually you miss one, at least one.
Social, but we've already talked about that issue, so to my knowledge, you got them all.
Director's comments. John?
We have the gala event tonight. This is the night when our concert will be put on at 7 o'clock at the St. Joseph Catholic Church. And I can tell you right now, it's magnificent. No tickets needed, just be there by 7, and frankly, you better be there a little early because we usually sell the place out. So.
Even though it's free.
It's free of charge, but what I mean by the seats will be taken.
I've gotten there as early as 6:15 and had trouble getting seats.
Quite frankly, I'm very happy that I have a reserved one.
Deb? Tammy? Cookie?
No.
Dennis?
No.
I just want to thank all of our residents and owners for contributing so generously to our staff and crew. They really deserved it, and I know they were thrilled. I've heard from a couple of them, so thank you again.
I'll ditto that.
Going back to checking the units, talking about the person who checks for pest control, that's every 2 months. That's way too far in between checking a unit. A whole lot of stuff happens in 2 months, a whole lot of stuff happens in a week. So we shouldn't be relying on the pest control to give us feedback. I really think that all the units that are gone for the summer should tell the office who is checking their unit, and then these people should go back to the office and tell them when they checked it and how often they checked it. So we have more of a control as to what happens, because if anything happens, we wind up paying for it.
I certainly don't disagree with what you're saying, but we have not set a rigid policy to that effect. Many people come in and tell us when they're not there. Matter of fact, maybe most, but you're right, there could be 1, there could be 5, there could be issues. If it's maybe something that we should start to develop, to have a codified policy that this must happen, certainly wouldn't be a bad idea, that we can control it.
Can I just add to that? I watch a neighbor's unit, and I go in every month, and every time I go in and check on it, I email them that I just checked it, all is well, or I see something, etc. So that's probably a good idea for at least the ones that are checking, to let the owners know that an owner should actually request it / demand it, that who's ever checking their unit, let them know how it is.
I agree. Ultimately, it's the owner's responsibility, and some of them just leave it. And unfortunately for them, if they come back and they've got a horrendous problem, it's their problem. But that's true. We'll talk about that tomorrow at the building committee. Excellent. We're working on that list as well. We finished? We need, no, George? Dick?
Well, I would just ask the question to tag on, would it be a policy, or is it something that the association has to deal with if it would move that way, to require some kind of
I believe the board has a right to set a policy under the rules and regulations to stipulate that if you're going to be away for an extended period of time, 30, 60, 90, whatever days the board felt that the policy should evolve to, then we can enforce it in that manner.
Thank you.
But I believe you have the right to do so.
Thank you.
Okay. Start tomorrow at the building committee and take it up with the board next board meeting.
Let's build on it. We'll build on it.
Very good. All right, that's all directors. We have owners' comments? Oh. Give us your unit number and name.
My name is Jan Marlette. I'm in 158 Pinehurst. A neighbor told us that she heard, don't ask me how, that there might be an alligator in our park. No. And And then, like, when people are out walking their puppies, they're like scared because there's rustling in the bushes around, at least the lakes around A. So I was wondering if that's true or an urban myth.
I would say presently there's no alligators, but there have been in the past. So it's a theoretical possibility. But I'm thinking more the rustling in the bushes or the little lizards that make some noise, possibly a friendly snake or something of that nature.
So nobody knows of any.
And raccoons, sure. We see raccoons all the time.
Awesome.
I'd be more concerned, possums, raccoons.
Right.
Be more concerned about that than the alligator. Because the alligator, and most times the alligators aren't an issue. I have 2 or 3 of them in the lake behind me, and you just see it's very nice and pretty to see them swimming around.
Do you walk a dog at night?
I wouldn't go out of it.
They know what.
So to just follow up on her, has anybody reported seeing an alligator? No, okay.
It's been about 3 years since I've seen one that was down in the 500s.
It's supposedly where you come into Wildewood Springs off Cortez, in that area right there. That's where supposedly.
Chances are probably not. It's probably going to be a possum or a raccoon. Really, that's the way prolific. But we've had foxes. They're gone.
Could be the
Could
coyotes.
be squirrels too.
Coyotes, yeah.
Could be the coyotes.
Could be coyotes. Lots of squirrels.
Never mind.
Any other comments? Okay. Do we hear a motion for adjournment?
Next, we'll set the meeting date. Steve, set the meeting date.
No. Okay, 14th for the workshop, 20th for the meeting. Yeah, the workshop will be at the office, the meeting on the Monday following will be here. Now do I have a call for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
Very good. Thank you very much for coming.